Hello my friends, I'm Buck Weezer and you've tuned to Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube. Laid out on the table in front of us today is a pretty well worn and weathered Husqvarna 2-stroke string trimmer. And this was brought to me in the hopes that I might get it running for the owner, and I just thought it would be cool to turn on the camera and just walk you through the process that I use when evaluating a machine like this. And I know nothing about it. It's been sitting for a long time and maybe outside because the orange is faded to a faded pink color. It's usually orange, right? And I don't know if how long it sat. I did observe that there is some fuel in the tank. I would imagine it's pretty old, and we'll get rid of that. But I just want to walk you through my process, the steps that I take. It's just a few minutes in which I can evaluate whether or not it's worth messing with. So let's go through that, and hopefully it will be of help to you. Our first test that I do on any machine like this, some handheld string trimmer, whatever it might be, is I'm going to test for compression. And I have a very inexpensive compression tester, and I use it a lot. I bought it on Amazon, and it's nice. It works really well. And what's nice about it is you got the Schrader valve right in the end where you're going to screw this into the spark plug hole. That's where you want the Schrader valve to be, so you can get the most accurate compression reading. So let's go over to the machine. We want to remove the spark plug boot and spark plug. And you got to be careful because I've had trouble with these where they just don't want to come off, and you end up breaking the spark plug wire, or the wire separates from the connector. So you got to be careful taking those off. Alright, I got it off, and there's just not a lot of room in there. Now let me get probably a 19mm socket, and we'll pull that off of there. And at tight quarters. Alright. Spark plug coming out. Looks normal enough to me. A Champion RCJ7Y. Alright, so we find the adapter that matches up to those spark plug threads. And it's the same one that I had showed you. And we just screw it into the spark plug hole. And now we get our tool, connect these guys just like that. Alright, so now we're going to pull the starter rope on the string trimmer 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, maybe up to 25 times. And we're just going to see what kind of compression we're able to build there. So I'll zoom you in on that. You can watch the dial while I get my workout for the day. That was 25 pulls, and it climbed to 123 psi, and to me that's adequate compression. Yeah, that's fine. So we've passed test number 1. Let's move on to test number 2. Compression tester removed. We are going to use a spark tester to see if we're getting spark here. And I've got two different kinds that I use. This is a cheap one from Harbor Freight Tools, probably $6, but it still works just fine. This one was more expensive and I don't remember where I got it. But we got to put a spark plug in. You can use the one we took out. Or if we're going to service this thing with the confidence that it's going to run, you can just go ahead and put in a new one. But we'll use the one that it came with. Boy, that's so tight in there because there's just no room for the socket and the spark plug boot. Alright. So now the spark tester runs between the spark plug boot connector and the spark plug. Like that, and when we pull the starter rope, we should have a flash, a little orange light flash in there. It's pretty bright out here today. See if I can get you a better look at that. Again, this won't tell us that the spark plug itself is good, but it'll tell us if the ignition, the coil is the magneto is generating the spark that we need. It'll flash it right in there. So maybe I'll turn off the lights so we can see it a little better. And I'll shut the door. Just to make it a little more obvious to see that light. All right, you got your eyes trained right there. Let me see here. So yeah, you can see it flashing. Test number 2, we've passed successfully. It is making spark. Got to have that to run. So here's a syringe with a little bit of fresh non-ethanol 2-cycle gasoline oil mix. And I'm just going to drip a little bit of this straight through the carburetor into the intake. And then we'll just see if it has the, if it'll run and fire briefly on the fuel that we just added directly into the engine. All right, there we go. So it took a couple of pulls, several pulls actually, but it finally did fire and run briefly. So, it's passed all of the tests. So you know what I do at this point? I know it's got compression, I know it's got spark, I know it will run. We're going to replace this carburetor with an inexpensive replacement carburetor kit. And we're going to put new fuel lines, clean this tank, fresh fuel, clean out this tank, probably new tank grommet, clean up this whole mess, new carburetor, and it will be back in business. And I've done this so many times on so many of these little engines. If you got spark, you got compression, and you know it'll run, let's just go ahead and get one of these inexpensive replacement carburetors, slap it on there, some clean fuel, and this baby will be back in business. So let's go place the order for the new carburetor. All right, we're sitting here in front of my computer and I found the carburetor that we need for the, we've got the 125L. That's what we got. And I've got the carburetor right here so I can compare it to the photos. And what's interesting about this one is, I'll show this to you here, is when you put the choke on, it stays locked on until you pull the throttle. So you pull the throttle and like that, and then the choke opens up automatically. So I had to find this exact carburetor so I could get the right thing. Now I also see up here that this is replacing the Zama C1Q W31B, and that is what we have right here. And you got to look very carefully to find that information. But it's right here above my thumb. And this was actually the W31A. I had to put on stronger glasses to see it, but I was looking online and it was superseded by the 31B. So I know this is right. Normally, I try to buy HIPA aftermarket carburetors, but HIPA is not selling me this one. They don't have it. So I'm going with this other brand, made in China, obviously aftermarket. And I can get it delivered tomorrow for $15.98 plus tax. And you know, this is just a really inexpensive and easy way to get that string trimmer back up and running. And it's worth giving it a shot, because otherwise, what are we going to do with that thing? It's going to go to the junk, but we know it's going to run. So let's just go ahead and buy this now, and tomorrow we'll turn the camera back on when it arrives and install it together. So I'll see you then. Well, here's our kit, and I already opened it, but here's the carburetor, and it matches up real nice. You know, this, like I said, this is the kind where you put the choke and it stays, and then when you pull the throttle, it automatically comes off. They're not all like that, so I had to find the correct one. So, and you get air filters and gaskets and a tool for adjusting it if you need to, spark plug. So you always get a few extra freebies. So let's install this carburetor, and it shouldn't take but a few minutes to do that. And so here we are. Cleaned out the gas tank already, and I've got this new fuel line, and we can put the fuel filter on the end, and he's going to go in. And then I gotta get this grommet on there, and hopefully it won't leak. And I've already forgotten which is the suction line and which is the return for the purge, but I'll be able to tell that looking inside. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So here's your carburetor. And I don't think this is our gasket for here. They gave us a new one. Let's see. Okay, now we're going to attach the throttle cable. And slide the, doing this right? Alright, now I need to connect these fuel lines. That's a little tight down there. It's very tight. And I'm not sure which is which. Alright, I did get the fuel lines connected. Wasn't too hard, just not a lot of room down there. It looks pretty good to me. Alright, that's good. We have a gasket here, And this is going to go over it next. I've already cleaned these pretty well. So let's there we go. Like that. And then we've got the two, I think they're 8mm nuts that go on there. I was using a 10mm socket, spinning, and it's not doing anything. Let's try the 8. That's better. Choke, squeeze throttle, and it goes off choke. All right, that's good. I think we got it up there. So, you know, we got a new air filter. We'll put that on. We got this cover. We'll put that on. But I think all I really need to do right now is add some gas oil mix, and we'll try it out. Okay. I'm not sure the exact starting procedure. Sometimes that information is on the machine somewhere, but oh wait, here we go. Found it right up here on the handle. Press primer bulb 10 times. Move blue engine choke lever to the closed position. Hold trimmer firmly on ground. Firmly grip starter rope handle without holding throttle trigger, and quickly pull until the engine attempts to run. Squeeze throttle trigger and continue to hold trigger and pull starter rope until it. Alright, so we're going to try that. I lost count. Was that 10? I was just making sure there's fuel on the bulb. So it is. So we're doing it right. Now let's see if it'll cooperate. Okay, so choke. Don't squeeze the throttle, but pull the handle. Then turn off the choke. Well, it was running great there, and then it started bogging down. So maybe we'll have to adjust some of these. Where even are those adjustments? Ah, they're right down through there. Well, that's fabulous. When I first started adjusting those mixture screws, I was disoriented and I was turning them the wrong way. So what I did is I went back and I closed both of them. You know, I turned them till they stopped, and I opened up the low jet 1 full turn, then I opened up the high speed a turn and a half. And then we opened it up even more when it was running. But it sounds pretty good now. All right, that's it. Thank you for joining me on this project. It turned out pretty good, I think, and we got some more life out of a piece of equipment that otherwise would have been thrown away. It's been around for a while. So maybe if you got a piece of Husqvarna string trimmer or some other brand, they're hopefully the process that I followed, you can also follow and get your string trimmer, weed whacker, leaf blower, hedge trimmer, chainsaw, any other handheld two-stroke equipment, get it back up and running, following the same steps and the same procedure. And this one turned out pretty good, so I'm happy. Thanks for watching today. Please leave your comments and questions in the discussion below. I always appreciate that. And remember, guys, like I always say, only you can put the do into do-it-yourself. And I'll see you next time. Bye.